And welcome to the HS Game Time Live Blitz. I'm Fernandez, David Zink on the other end, and sandwiched in between us, the man of the hour, head coach of your Centennial Huskies, Matt Logan. And Zink, we're pleased to have him here. A lot of big news with Centennial going on right now around the football program.
In meat and potatoes of Inland Empire football, Centennial football. No, we were just going before we went on air. So, Coach Logan, you're a busy guy, and it's very nice of you to come down here and talk to us. But, I mean, in doing so, the hard questions come out first. So this year you got a crazy preseason schedule. Tell us about that.
We do. Our program is built on competition, and I think we got probably the most competitive schedule that we've ever had. We open up with Mater Day in an event game down at Mission Viejo. Then the next week's down at Oceanside against Orange Lutheran. And then we get to host Bishop Gorman and then Long Beach Poly back-to-back. And then we go to Bishop Aumont and then get a week off before we go to the Big 8.
And who do you start in the Big 8?
We start off with King this year.
There's no easing up, I guess.
No, not at all. We believe that our kids come out on the practice field every day to compete, and we want we're showing that through our schedule too. We want to compete as a team, and again, it's just that kind of you want to get to that level, and those are the teams that are going to take you to that level.
With that kind of schedule, it's like a gauntlet. So really, when they say we only prepare week to week to week, it's truly you can only prepare week to week to week, right? You can't go looking 3 weeks out. You lose sight of week 2, week 1, you get yourself hurt.
I've lost too many games to look weeks out. So we always make sure we take care of the week at hand. I've never done anything planned ahead. I mean, I can't even think of an instance where that's ever been the case. We always play week to week, and we preach that to our kids, and we believe we do that through our coaching. We prove that in our action.
Well, you have a very deep program, but you lost a lot of great talent from last year's team. Quarterback, receivers. You lost your best linemen. I'm sure you've got other guys to fill those positions. Do you feel confident with that?
Every year, that's one of the great things about high school football. Your kid, every year it's different. You might have 1 or 2 returners, at a specific position or something, but every year it's different. And we'll probably go through some growing pains. I mean, we're going to be, as you mentioned, we're going to be new at quarterback. We're going to be inexperienced, at least at the varsity level. And right now I've got 4 kids competing for it. So that's a lot, and when you got a game really a month away.
4 kids competing for it?
Not a month away, but 4 kids competing for a game 4 months away. So we got to start, putting them in game-like situations to see who can develop and how they handle when bad things come up, because that's what the mark of a quarterback is, But so it just comes down to competition and kids getting ready to get their opportunity to play.
Any of those kids had a varsity snap?
A couple of them did last year. They got a few reps in here and there. Yeah.
So I mean, but your stock, obviously you do a lot with offense, but you guys also usually have a pretty good defense. You've also been through these things where you've had to put new quarterbacks into the system, at least in the last 6 years, multiple times, and it always seems you seem to be like a cat. You always land on your feet. I mean, you really do. You have some really. I mean, Robert Weber turned out to be a pretty solid guy. And right before him, excuse me, I forget his name, but Hayden Gavitt. Yeah. I mean, he kind of jumped in and kind of did. I mean, are you see that again?
Yeah, I hope so. Knock on wood that we get one of whoever ends up taking the job, or maybe it is going to be by committee. Who knows at this point, but. Hopefully they'll step in and run the offense and execute it like we want them to and like our expectations are.
Okay, so this season you got a crazy preseason, then you have your same crazy Big 8 season and everything else that goes along with that. Yeah. But looking 2 years out, I hear a lot of rumor out there that the Big 8 is going to be in the Pac-5, in 2000. I guess that'd be 15. What are you hearing, and is any of that true?
That's what I'm hearing too. I think that'll be the case actually this fall. So this fall we'll be in the Pac-5. So we'll find out in a little less than a month, I think, here when they do the final rolling. But it looks all signs are pointing that way. And again, hey, if that's the best division, it's a great opportunity for us to compete in it.
Is that kind of get boiled blood, make you happy, ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to compete at the highest level? I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, we end up playing those teams at some point in time down the line. So, I think the tough thing will be, when you look at the playoff brackets. I think when you're in our division, maybe that first round game, you're probably going to win unless you play really bad. But I think at that next level up, I mean, you're going to have a ball game that first round game. So that's going to be interesting. But we're looking forward to the challenge, and looking forward to competing at the highest level there is in Southern California.
So
Now I know how calculated you are as a coach, as a person, that you know exactly what this leads to this leads to this. That's where you're comfortable, correct?
I don't know if I have a crystal ball, but
It's not a crystal ball, but you definitely put your ducks in a row to make sure you know what you're talking about, correct?
we try to.
With that being said, your preseason schedule, was that in any way influenced by the fact you might have thought you'd be going to the Pac-5? You're like, well, we might as well just go trial by fire to get out the gate, so we're ready, battle-tested, ready to go.
Preseason schedules get real interesting. One, we're in 2 event games, which are good. Good for a couple reasons. One, usually they're for a common charity or a cause, and so it's great to play in something like that. It's usually a pretty big deal in terms of the teams that are involved in it. So we're in 2 of those games. So those, you really don't know who your opponent's going to be. You don't really have control over that. You just kind of agree to play in it. And obviously it's a road game because you're not playing at home. They will call and say, hey, do you mind playing so-and-so? And I always say, I don't care what time we play. I don't care who we play. Just, I just want to play somebody good. And so those 2 games are kind of out of our control. The other 3 we have a little bit of control on. But, it really wasn't a situation where we're trying to set ourselves up for the Pac-5. Because I think one of the worst things you want to do is play somebody twice. So we're playing, 4 Trinity teams or 3 Trinity teams and 1 more league. So, we could end up seeing one of those teams again. It's very possible if we are indeed in the Pac-5. So, I don't think there was so much of a mastermind behind it as just trying to play competitive teams. Ideally, I think probably every coach would sit here and tell you, oh, we'd like to play 3 competitive, 3 tough teams and 2 teams that we could probably win. Maybe out the gate, maybe have that first one, So, our quarterback's going to go out there with very limited reps and open up against modern day in event games. So if you talk about being thrown to the fire right out of the bat, that's what he's going to be dealt with. So
You're not sandbagging that first game then.
yeah, that's right. No.
All right, so Coach, just to clarify, these are CIF meetings that will take place, I think it's like May 9th. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I'm not sure, David, yeah.
And effective this fall, like this upcoming season.
Right.
Now, I do some sports updates on KCAL, and I was trying to tell them about this big Centennial Bishop Gorman game when it was all over Twitter. Are you on Twitter? I've looked for you.
I follow. I don't tweet, but I follow people.
He creeps.
Yeah, follow other people. You're not the only coach. I've heard a lot of coaches do that. They get a Twitter account just to see what other people are doing.
It's my daughters, honestly. It doesn't take to keep tabs on my daughters.
Well,
so.
I hear you. I can't blame you there. But I was trying to relate it to him. It's like you guys getting Bishop Gorman was like USC scheduling Alabama or something like that. I was trying to put it into context for them that this is a big game. For people who aren't familiar with Bishop Gorman, what kind of a team are you expecting from Las Vegas?
Well, they're a national power year in and year out, and it was a situation where, because of the decision that was made, I think a month or 2 ago by CIF to re-league some of the private schools, they ended up having an opening week 2, which we did as well, and we're here it is again. Season starts in 4 months, and we don't have a full schedule yet. So I'd heard they had an opening, so we made a phone call, and it worked out good.
Well, they obviously would love to play you, too. I think they probably have the same respect for Centennial football as you would have for Bishop Gorman, along with all the other schools. I'm sure that this is going to make for a fun fall. I can't wait to see how these games play out.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. It's a lot of great matchups right out of the gate, and I think, we'll find out what we're made of, that's for sure. And I also think we're going to have some growing pains in there, too. So, but we're going to learn a lot. Well, yeah, that's the best thing is when you play good people, you find out what you need to work on right away. It's much better to be in a situation where you lose a game to a really tough team, and you learn so much more than you do go and beat somebody by 50 points. So we welcome the challenge.
And then you walk into league and you got guys like Blake Barnett that you have to go up against, a good young quarterback who's obviously getting bigger, better, and stronger, all those things. And I hear that Santiago's going to probably be improved over this past year for next year. You got Norco's got a year under their belt under the new regime and that kind of thing. So it just doesn't get any easier. Do you live for the fall? Is that something you really just live for? Or sometimes you think, God, are we doing this again?
Well, we talk to our kids about this all the time, how this sport is so labor intensive. I know the 7-on-7 teams and all that stuff has kind of, become fun or whatever, a big deal now, but it's not real football. So really, you do all this work to play those 10 games that you're only guaranteed to play, So it's a lot of work. So we always tell how it's a labor sport, and you got to love this game to do it. And can't wait to get started. We're in spring ball right now, and it's exciting just knowing that we're prepping for those games in the fall right now.
So have you talked with totally changing gears here? Have you talked with Sutton about the draft? Do you know anything about where he's going to be, what he's going to be doing as far as that? I know every year you got at least somebody being looked at in the draft. And heck, last year you got Vontez breaking through. You got other guys breaking through. I mean, you got a lot of guys going in the pros now. So do you see? I'm horrible with names. Sutton.
Will Sutton.
Will Sutton.
You know, he's going to be. Looks like he's going to be our first player ever drafted out of Centennial. So that's exciting. I saw him. I'm going to say probably about a month ago. He came by and it was in preparations for getting ready for the combine actually, and he looked good, looked really good. So they're saying anywhere from the 2nd to 4th round. I just hope it works out where it's a good situation for him, where he gets an opportunity to compete and play and earn that money playing a sport that he loves to play. And it's been great with Vontez with the Bengals, and I think he had the highest. Made the most incentive money, I think, out of all the players in the NFL this year, so I think that put him at $1 million, so that's awesome for him. And Matt Scott being re-signed on the Jaguars, and then Brandon McGee was with the Cleveland Browns. So we've got, 3 guys out there, and this is Taylor Martinez's year too, so it's his opportunity to try to hook on with somebody, and he actually, he worked out at 3 positions on his pro day. So we'll kind of see what ends up happening with him. It's going to be kind of interesting. He worked at quarterback, receiver, and DB, so.
Well, I get notes from Taylor, and Taylor's also programming now. I guess he's he's got apps in the App Store now. Did you know that, Coach?
That's awesome.
He's actually selling apps in the App Store. Yeah, one's called like Bounce or something like that. But it sounds like Taylor.
Well, you just mentioned all these great players that have come through your program, and I just recently read on Max Preps that in the last decade, I don't know if you saw this or not, they have you ranked as the 2nd top program in California behind De La Salle, of course, but they have you guys at number 2 in the last decade. You just mentioned all those great players that have come through there. What does that say about your programming? For a decade, you've been steady and on top and one of the best in California.
We've been very fortunate to have a lot of great players come through and a pretty stable coaching staff. So I credit goes to those 2 factors right there alone, and a school that is super supportive of all kids, not just football, but of all kids programs, and gives us the opportunities to be able to compete at this high level. I mean, there's a lot of schools that may not get the opportunity to play some of the events that we get to play in, or do some of the things we've been able to do. So it's been great. It's kind of a group effort that the reason why we've had the success we had, and hopefully we can continue that.
And that's a huge tradition. So another tradition that I want to start with you, and I was going to see if I can make it okay with you first before I did it, because I just don't want to jump the gun and then you say, Zink, you're being a jackass. So the truth be, I found some houndstooth cloth. If I made you a pair of houndstooth shorts, would you start wearing them to games? Bear Bryant wore a houndstooth hat for a lot of years, and that was his insignia. And I thought, there's no other guy who plays it as tough and for as long as Bear Bryant is Matt Logan.
Red and black, of course. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got the black and the white. You got the red shirt on. I think it looked great. What do you think?
Houndstooth sounds like it's a pretty thick, heavy material. I don't. The reason we wear shorts is because it's hotter than heck. So I'm kind of partial to my dry fit. Can you get a dry fit version of it?
I could always try and find out. I did find some material. My mother-in-law passed away recently, and she had a bunch of material in her closet, and we pulled it down. I said, God, this would be perfect for Matt Logan. Be perfect. I would make you a hat, but you wouldn't wear it. I know that.
Yeah, hat would be too hot. Maybe some underwear that I can wear underneath the shorts for those cold games.
So
late in December,
when you win,
state title.
but when you win the whole thing, you'll just jump to your boxers and run on through. Then.
That's right. That's what I'll do.
Okay, that's way out of line. I apologize. And the second question I had: how's Sammy doing down at Fullerton, and how things going down there for her?
It's been great for her. It was kind of an interesting situation because when she was an early signee, and then they had a coaching change. So it wasn't the staff that brought her in. All the coaches weren't retained that brought her in. So she ended up kind of having to deal with a new coaching staff, but everything worked out. She ended up starting, I think, over half the games, and she made freshman All Big West. So it's been real exciting. And she really likes the college life. She loves the travel and all the things that come along with it. So she's having a good time. She's really motivated for next year.
Is she really? That's great. When I saw that she was starting, I thought, how fantastic is that? I mean, as a freshman to be able to start in any conference, let alone the Big West.
Yeah, it is nice because she's close enough to where I can get to most games. So it's been, I didn't fly to Hawaii. Hawaii's in their conference. That was the one I missed. But I was able to get to most of even to some of the away games. The Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara's, they're close enough. UC Davis's. So it's been as a father, it's so much fun to watch your kid go out there and play and compete.
So with all the changes and everything else, I guess we're going to stick with color schemes and things on the uniforms. Uniforms basically the same, so everyone knows that that's Centennial walking on the field. Are you going crazy like all the other high schools have in the last 5 years?
We are actually changing this year, so we'll have a new helmet and a new redesigned C, and we had to get new uniforms because the other ones were discontinued, so we didn't really have a choice on that one. So we'll be probably updated or whatever you want to say it, but we're still, it's probably going to go more traditional. I've always been on that kind of side of the fence. We're not going to have feathers on our shoulders or anything like that. So we'll
feather boas around our necks.
What could a husky do?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. A dogtail or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
so give us a quick little take. So the C's changed. It's basically the same, a little bit different.
It's quite a bit different. The coloring and the shaping of it's different. And we'll have an all-black helmet. And uniforms will look pretty similar. I mean, those are pretty basic, but the helmet will be considerably different. And I think probably a lot of the kids are a little disappointed not having the two-tone. But when we kind of decided we had to change the C, we thought, well, let's just, let's mix it up. If we're going to do the C, we might as well do everything. So
you're still going to have the all-black unis, though.
Oh yeah, won't change that. That's a staple right there.
Yeah, that one, yeah, exactly. You can't play the Darth Vader music without all-black uniform.
Exactly, that's 100% true.
Well, yeah, I think you guys were ahead of the curve when you had the two-tone helmets. I think a lot of teams are now just going to it. You guys did it, set the tone, and now you're going on to the next.
Now we're going on, we're kind of going back more traditional, like I said, more to what the helmets were when we first started Centennial with the all-black.
Well, we'll have to see how much of a fashion school that they are, because we'll see how the other schools follow that. Because I mean, the uniforms have just gone wacky, man. I see so much stuff now; it's ridiculous. You go look at the Oregon State's uniforms, and now I see high schools with those loud uniforms. It's hard to look at.
And it's not cheap. I mean, the uniforms are expensive, and so I like when teams have we always laugh when teams have two different colored pants. We're like, ooh, that's a big deal, because we have one pair of pants. That's it, one color pants, because we can't afford to have. You got 100 guys on a team. That's 200 pairs of pants you got to have. You got to have more than 200 because you never have the right amount of sizes. So you got to have probably about 125 for 100 kids. So that means 250 pants or so for a kid. that's a lot of money at $60-$70 a pop.
And then Ted Watkins tells us at the end of last season that they have 3 sets of pants and 3 jerseys. They've got 6. They got 9 different uniform options.
9 combos. That's good for them. I think that's great. I've always believed that hey, we're going to spend money in the areas where it's going to help us win games. So our money goes to the weight room and equipment that we can use on the field. Hopefully we don't have extra money. That's for sure.
Well, we've definitely taken up a lot of your time. You've given us a lot of valuable information.
Especially the houndstooth.
I mean, really.
I mean, that was.
I just know that I can make them now. I wasn't going to till my sister's kind of a seamstress, and I said I'll let you know as soon as I find out if I can do it.
I heard the green light. So
I heard green light too. Just for one game, man, it'd be great. You'd definitely get on H's Game Time with those shorts.
Oh yeah, for sure. Keep them nice and warm, as you said. Hopefully after a deep playoff run, and maybe into December as well as the state playoffs.
Yeah, hopefully we're playing in December, so that'll be a good thing.
I won't doubt that.
Yes. All right, the great Matt Logan from Centennial High School. We really appreciate your time. We do. You're one of our favorites, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
We're excited about this daunting schedule you guys have lined up, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, we are too. It'll be fun.
Don't be a stranger, Coach.
All right,
Thanks so much.
Thanks, take care.
All right, you're free to take off.
Right,
we'll leave you alone now.
All right.
Back to traffic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so we're here live at Adrenaline Athletic Training in Corona. That was Centennial head coach Matt Logan breaking it down, that intimidating non-league schedule. But as you heard, he's not really intimidated by anybody or any team. He'll play anyone, anywhere, and he's got exactly what he asked for, a very tough schedule. So we just talked to Matt Logan, and we're going to be moving on to softball in just a moment. We've got Riverside Poly standing by. We're going to talk to those girls. They're off to a great season in the Inland Valley League, 6-0, and we're going to catch up with the Lady Bears in just a moment. We've got a couple scores coming in as well. Jumped on Twitter. There's some big games going on today, and the biggest, maybe King taking on Santiago. And get this, Zink, King 7-zip against the Sharks. So King wins behind Alexis Osorio, going a complete game, 12 strikeouts, a 3-hitter. So King knocking off.
I think that's her second straight shutout. I think she pitched a perfect game last week.
Did she really?
I believe so.
Well, EPJ was billing it as a team that had the best pitcher in Osorio against the best hitting team in Santiago, and clearly King pushed across a couple runs, 7 of them, and Osorio backed it up with a great game in the circle. So King now gets Norco on Friday. So they had Santiago today, Norco on Friday, so they're really going through the gauntlet. But
out of the frying pan and into the fire.
You got it. So 7-zip for King. Now, also yesterday, Canyon Springs took on Valley View. That was a big game in the Inland Valley League. Valley View looking to stay on the heels of Riverside Poly, who we're going to talk to in just a moment. So let's check out those highlights as it went to extra innings, and Valley View gutted out a big win against Canyon Springs. In-town rivals Valley View and Canyon Springs colliding on Tuesday in Inland Valley League action. I'm Pep Fernandez, and this is High School Game Time. So here we go. First inning, Canyon Springs, Courtney Smith belts this triple to center field. The Cougars are threatening right off the bat. At the dish now is Taylor Powell. She drives this double to left. Smith and Hope Sobolewski score 2-zip. Cougars on top. Bottom of one, the Eagles answer. Shane Knutson, the hard grounder to second. Stephanie Soriano crosses the plate, making it a 2-1 game. Now to the second inning, it's Soriano tripling to the right center field gap. Nicole Bolaski scores. We're all tied up, 2-2. Now to the third inning, Alexandria Melendez. Alex, the strikeout, the throw to second for the out. Strike him out, throw him out for Valley View. Now in the fourth, Melendez continuing to roll in the circle. Circle K for Melendez. Bottom of the fourth, Soriano continued her big game for the Eagles. Soriano slices this ball to left. It falls in. Bolaski scores. Valley View takes the lead 3-2, and it's a double for Soriano. To the fifth, Courtney Smith lays down the bunt for the Cougars. The throw to first gets away. Ariana Williams scores. Canyon Springs evens the game 3-3. To the bottom of the fifth, it's Courtney Smith again, but this time in the field. The big-time play in the hole, and the throw got her. In the sixth, Melendez checks in with another strikeout. She was cruising. Bottom of the sixth, the Eagles with runners on first and second. Canyon Springs pitcher Erica Johnson catches the pop-up off the bunt. The throw to first for the double play. Now to the seventh, Courtney Smith with the pop-up to shallow left. Valley View shortstop Skylar Broussard tracks it down and makes the great over-the-shoulder catch for the Eagles. Still in the seventh, Valley View hurler Melendez collects the K. And now we head to the bottom of the seventh. Carissa Terry ripping a triple to right. So Valley View back in business. Can the Eagles cash in and win this game right here, right now? But this ground out to Sobolewski at first will send us to extra innings. Later, more sparkling defense. Valley View, Soriano, the diving play at second, and the throw to first is in time for the out. Fast forward to the bottom of the 10th. Still 3-3 when Carissa Terry doubles down the left field line to get on board for the Eagles. Up steps Melendez. She pushes this single to right. In comes Terry, and this game is over. A dramatic finish between these two rivals as Valley View wins a close one, 4-3, the final in 10 innings. I'm Pep Fernandez for HS Game Time and PE.com. All right, so Valley View with a big win in extra innings against Canyon Springs on Tuesday, but all the teams in the Inland Valley League looking up to the Riverside Poly Bears, and we've got their head coach right here, Robert Sakaguchi, and some of the players standing by. And Coach, you guys are on top at 6-0. What do you guys have to do to stay on top?
We just can't take it for granted. We got to keep pushing and putting it to them. We started off 6-0 last year, and second round, Canyon Springs beat us first game, second round. So everybody's going to come after us. So we just got to stay focused and continue on. And don't, just like I said, just don't take anybody for granted right now. Right now, everybody's beating everybody in the league, so we got to be careful.
You guys, year in, year out, have a program. I mean, it's been around for a long time. In fact, we just saw Minnie Cowles come up over here, and she's about 2000, 2003, whatever she graduated. So you've had a lot of people do this program. I mean, how much fun is it to coach here at Riverside Poly?
Oh, it's great. I spent 3.5, 4 years at Arlington, and I remember always facing Poly and thinking, good Lord, we got to play Poly this week, and getting a chance to come over here. It's great working with these athletes. You got great athletes coming through here all the time. And this group over here that we got, they're not just great athletes, they're just great kids. So it's been real special and a real privilege to come out here and do this. It really is.
Good blend of, seniors, upperclassmen, and some young players that you're bringing up this season?
Right now we have 8 seniors. We have two or three freshmen. I think we have 2 freshmen that we got this year. So We're gonna have to do a lot of rebuilding next year after we lose these ones right here. But we got 5 or 6 right now that are gonna be really good for us for the next 2 or 3 years. So, but it's gonna be tough. There's no way to replace these, but it's gonna be tough to try and to keep up with them.
So when you saw the senior class coming up, did you kind of see the writing on the wall and say, wow, when they get to be seniors, we're gonna have a really good shot at this, if we can keep progressing and getting better and, keep them together as a group?
Yeah, sophomore year when they all came in, and my first year here was their sophomore year, and we struggled a bit. Again, we were the youngsters, and we were looking ahead for the next 2 years. And then last year they had a great year, and they've just shown such maturity, and adding a couple of youngsters in there, and they look really legitimate this year. They've matured a lot, they've grown a lot, they've become really close with all the 3 or 4 years. Some of them have been here 4 years together, and it's really showing this year.
Obviously, feeding more kids into the program. You have a lot of seniors, but you have girls to back it up.
Right now, our numbers aren't that high. The last few years we've only had 35, 40 kids trying out, so almost everybody makes a team, either JV or varsity. So it's been kind of thin with so many schools and the new transfer rules and everything. It's a little hard, but we just got to work with what we get now. It just hasn't been like it used to be in the past.
And obviously the rest of the league has kind of risen up too. I mean, you're talking about more teams you're having to scrap with rather than just a couple from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, coming back to this Inland Valley League, everybody wants to be Poly. Like I said, I knew I was always on that. Oh, we got to be Poly. So regardless of the talent, if there is a differential, they're going to come and give us everything they got every time. And it's just a matter of Poly's on the shirt, they want to beat you.
How about this? Hey, Coach, we're going to go talk to your girls over here. Why don't you kind of introduce them and talk a little bit about each one, and we're going to swing the camera around. We'll get to them. Oh, you can stay here. You're good.
All right, we'll go from left to right. Left is Janine Petmecki. She's our superstar pitcher. She was one of our special gifts we got sophomore year that transferred over. She's just been everything for us. She can pitch, she can hit, she can play defense. She's just everything that we could have dreamed of. Next to her, Lori Brown. She's a 4-year varsity player at Poly. She's our center fielder. Got an amazing arm. Does a great job in the outfield. Next is Chelsea Johnson, another 4-year starter player at Poly. She's our catcher. I didn't know she was a catcher till her junior year, though. She kind of kept that a secret. She played first base for us for a while. Amazing hitter, just unbelievable power, and calls a great game behind the plate. Next is Kayla Jimenez, our first baseman. She was another gift we got that was transferred over as a sophomore year, and she's done an amazing job. She got one of the best gloves I've seen. And you look at her size, you don't know it, but she's been one of our top 2 home run hitters the last couple of years. And our last one is Amanda Herrera. She's our third baseman, a 4-year starter at Poly, and probably one of the best gloves in the entire state. Just absolutely fantastic defensive player.
All right, so raise your hand. Who's a senior here? All a senior. So when you girls, saw this group coming up together, maybe even just last season, did you know, like, hey, this is going to be a special team. Let's stick together. Let's keep getting better. Let's see what we can do as a senior. We'll just go right down the line here. I'll hold it for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, our team does have something special, and we just click really well, and then on the field it shows, and we just play as a team together, and then we take care of it on the field.
Well, I knew this was going to be our year because, we click as a team. We've been together for a while, and even before high school, most of us played together when we were little, so we have a lot of seniors on the team too, so I knew this was going to be a good year for us.
So far, so good. 6-0 in Inland Valley League, right, Chelsea? What do you guys got to do to keep it going?
We definitely need to not underestimate anybody because it's anyone's game right now. Because ever since Canyon Springs, coming after Valley View, they're coming for us now. So I'm really not underestimating any team.
Yeah, Coach was talking about last season. I think Canyon Springs got you right the second time around. Yeah. So, Lori, can you talk about that? Just staying focused and seeing these teams a second time and trying to stay undefeated.
Yeah, the second round is really important this year because that's when we have to come out and we have to make sure these teams know that we're going to stay on top and we want to win. And we're not going to let them take it from us.
Same thing, Janine down here?
Yeah, we can't just figure to roll over everyone, so we got to go after everyone as hard as we can, no matter what.
That's a good answer, good answer. All right, so Coach, very mild, soft-spoken, right? Does Coach ever yell at practice? Not at practice, no. He seems pretty mild-mannered even during the games. He what?
He has his moments.
He has his moments. Hey, who's the team jokester? Is there someone on the team that's always cracking a joke? I mean, that's you. Okay, so it's 3-3. What's that?
They're all great dancers.
They're all great. Oh, maybe we can get them to dance in a second. So Chelsea, it's 3-3, bottom of the 7th, really tense game. What do you do to kind of lighten the mood for your team? Is there something you can do?
I really try to annoy the other team. Like I become the obnoxious one that everyone can't stand. Like even the coaches want out of the dugout. Like the one that I mock them basically. I'm sad to say that, but yeah, I make fun of the other team.
But you guys are 16-6, 6-0, so obviously something's working. Let's go back to the Stu Pinter. You played a lot of good teams, right? You had Santiago on the ropes, nearly knocked them off. I mean, was that a good experience playing some really good teams and also almost winning that thing?
Yeah, it was a good experience, and it just built us together as a team, and we knew we had something, and we just wanted to keep fighting from there. And we know our team has something special. So.
How about the Stu Pinter as well?
I think that that tournament got us ready for CIF. We know what to expect now, and we had them. So I think if we push ourselves this season, we definitely next time we see them, we got them.
All right, as we go down the line, Chelsea, you just saw Mindy Cowles, right? You might be able to see her in the background if you're watching at home. But Mindy Cowles was a star player for Riverside Poly, won CIF in 2004. Do you guys know her at all? Did she pitch to you or something like that?
Our freshman year, she would come pitch to us when Coach G was there, and she scared the crap out of me. But I remember stepping out of the box. I was like, nope, she's gonna hit me. Okay, no. But I mean, she helped us out a lot my freshman year. So a 10-year anniversary for CIF too. So I'm hoping we can.
This is it, right?
Yeah, this is it. So I'm hoping we can bring it home for her.
Yeah, Mindy Cowles, the head softball coach here at Adrenaline Athletic Training, and I caught up with Mindy before the show started and said, when was the last time Riverside Poly won CIF? And she said, well, that was the year I was the pitcher and we went all the way in 2004. So, yes, you're right. A decade later, Lori, talk about, maybe trying to do what Mindy and the crew did 10 years ago at Riverside Poly and go all the way and win that ring.
Yeah, that would be awesome to get that title and have the ring and just show everyone that Poly can do it and that we're coming together as a team and going out there to win.
Janine, what are you guys doing well right now? What do you like about this team? Is it peaking? Is it playing better as the season goes on?
We balance each other out, so we'll always pick each other up, defense and offense. If we're not hitting, our defense will pick it up and vice versa. So we keep it going throughout the game.
All right, so Riverside Poly's got, wait, don't tell me, Canyon Springs this coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. So that was the team you quote unquote you kind of stubbed your toe on last year, right? The second time through.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys ready for this one? Are you excited to see them again? I mean, you already beat them once, right? Through the first round. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I just think we need to come out right when we get there and have energy and keep it start from the beginning with cheers and stuff and.
Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah.
Wait, so what's the best cheer? Can you give me one right now? I mean, because softball, some softball teams really get into it. They're notorious for it.
I don't think we can
The green machine?
The green machine?
Can we save it for the field?
Yeah, let's save it for the field. You're gonna come watch it.
Well, I will. Of course, I'll come watch you. But a little sneak peek, little preview, right?
I mean, you can start us out.
Come on, Chelsea. You were talking a big game about all your cheers. About all your.
Okay, ready? Count it off. Green machine. Ready?
Wait, are we gonna stop first? And then
Okay, yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3.
You don't want no green machine. You don't want none. And if you want some green machine, you better come and get some.
That's all. Everybody keeps going.
All right. Well, thank you for the sneak preview. Everyone now is staring at you, so I hope you're nice and embarrassed. Janine is. Janine's embarrassed. So my mission accomplished. Hey, and girls, if that wasn't enough, Coach said you're all great dancers. Can I stand back and just see some moves? I mean.
There's no music playing.
Oh no, I hear some music. Listen, if you oh, it's not your jam. What's your? Do you dance during the games in the dugout, before the games, and?
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. You gotta get a pregame dance
come here early.
to
We
just
got
get
the
you in the
music
vibe.
blasting.
Yeah, definitely.
Pre-game dance.
Yeah. And a little singing too. I mean,
So other teams are fielding ground balls and hitting off tees, and you girls are dancing and singing. I'm just kidding. But it's working. They're 16-6, 6-0 in the Inland Valley League. Canyon Springs tomorrow, correct? And yeah, this senior-heavy team is going strong right now. They've got a lot of great players, and we're going to go back to head coach Robert Sakaguchi over here and finish up with our Riverside Poly Bears. And coach, you can tell this is a fun bunch. You know, and they're obviously playing very, very well. They're playing at a very high level. What's it been like, as you said, you know, you've got a couple underclassmen, but it's really senior heavy, and you've got some really great seniors. What's it been like to see them progress last year or two and see them doing so well here as seniors?
Oh, it's been great. Like I said, it's been a privilege to be part of it, to watch them grow and become the players they have. They've all improved in every aspect, not just on the field, but, you know, attitudes, leadership, everything that you can possibly want from them. They've all gained and become the player that you want to see. Sorry, I remember the second part of it.
You know what? They're seniors. They're playing well, and it's kind of nice, I guess, as a coach, to kind of see them develop and see them get success after all the hard work they've probably put in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I hope that it can continue on. You know, I would love to see this group. Like I said, they work hard, and you know, they have fun. You know, in my opinion, if you're not having fun, then what are you doing out there? You know, you got to have a little mix. That's why they dance and have their music. And I would love to see them, after all their hard work that they put in, you know, to come out and go a long way in CIF and make a run to finish off their high school careers, you know, before they go off to college.
All right, Riverside Poly head softball coach Robert Sakaguchi joining us here on the Blitz. Coach, we really appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
You guys are having a great season, and you guys are free to go. You guys can dance all the way out if you want. If it's your jam, Chelsea. Yeah, if it's your jam. All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See you, girls. Good luck tomorrow against Canyon Springs. Riverside Poly, half the team, it seems like, and their head coach, Robert Sakaguchi, joining us here on the Blitz. Once again, thank you to Adrenaline Athletic Training here in Corona for hosting the Blitz. They always do a great job. It was great to have Mindy Cowles here. She's the head softball coach at Adrenaline, talking to some of the Riverside Poly girls, reminiscing from her CIF championship 10 years ago. And Zink, they got some great seniors. What's not to say they can't do it again, you know, on their 10-year anniversary?
And it's really nice to see Chelsea Johnson. I've known her since she was quite young, and she's grown into quite a softball player. She worked a lot of hard hours at it, and you know, it's obviously paying off. I was talking to her coach, said she's going to be going to New Mexico, University of New Mexico, New Mexico
Nice.
State. Yeah, had an offer to Michigan State too, possibly. But all those girls, I mean, doing outstanding work.
All right, so that's going to be our softball segment as we move on to baseball. And, you know, in the Big 8 League right now, we thought it might be a dogfight, but it looks like Norco has jumped out in front. 7-0 right now. Santiago just a couple of games back at 5-2. But I was going through Kyle Glazer's notebook, and Norco senior Cole Young, he's headed to USC, and he already has 7 home runs. So if you do the math,
He's a beast.
and he's a big kid, he can hit bombs.
Unnamed coach who plays against him told me, "Wow, that kid's amazing."
Unnamed coach.
Unnamed
Opposing coach?
Opposing
coach. But you'll remember this name, Matt Hobgood,
Oh yeah,
a guy from Norco.
younger
High School.
brother, huh?
No, well, Matt Hobgood from Norco has the CIF Southern Section record with 21 home runs. Now, Cole only has 7, but that was before they tweaked the bat, so they weren't as offensively, you know,
That's right.
generating those huge offensive numbers. So, but still, you know, Cole Young is off to a great, you know, season, already 7 home runs. If you do the math, he's on pace for like 13 or something like that. But Matt Hobgood, 2009, 21 home runs.
Yeah, but everything went out of the yard then.
It did. I mean, the ping of the
what
bat,
What do they call those bead bats or whatever? I forget what they call them, but yeah, they definitely toned down the home run game for boys baseball.
So Norco 7-0 in the Big 8 League and trying to run away with it at this point. Over in the Inland Valley League, Riverside Poly and JW North were in a battle for first place. Both teams 6-0. They were playing today. Last checked, it was 5-4, Poly up in the 7th inning. So we're still trying to find a final score. And Zink, a guy that you know very well, a guy by the name of Andrew Navigato actually had the RBI to put Riverside Poly up in the bottom of the 6th.
Drew Navigato.
Is that his dad?
No, that's him. That's Andrew. They call him Drew.
But you know the family, right?
Yes, I do.
Dad and
great family, and actually he's got a brother who's a very good baseball player, Luke Navigato.
I think is Luke the second baseman and Andrew the shortstop? Is that sound right?
They're both on the team there. fantastic players.
I'm sure you have enough contacts. You could probably wrangle up that score right now, right?
I'm looking right now, actually. If you give me 1 second, I'll see if I can find it.
So that was a first-place battle in the Inland Valley League. There was also another first-place battle over in the Citrus Belt League as Redlands East Valley was taking on Yucaipa. That one's already gone final, and Yucaipa blanks the Wildcats by a final score of 5-0. So Redlands East Valley had that big win against Cajon last Friday. Actually, 2 big wins against Cajon last Friday, going into a first-place showdown with the Thunderbirds. And the T-Birds get game 1 against Rev by a final score of 5-0. The 2 teams will square off once again on Friday. So like the Inland Valley League, the Citrus Belt League is also a dogfight at this point. A lot of teams battling there. In the Southwestern League, if you think those other leagues were muddled, the Southwestern League is just a big mess right now, Zink, because you've got Murrieta Valley, who had a 1-game lead going into yesterday. And what do? They lost to Murrieta Mesa 3-0, a 3-hitter for the Rams to beat Murrieta Valley. So now that league is kind of turned on its head.
And that's a very deep league, correct?
Any team can beat any team, and it's not an exaggeration because literally you saw that Murrieta Valley was in first place and they lost to Murrieta Mesa, who by all accounts, wasn't even the top half of that league, and but they lost 3-0. So right now, if you look at the standings, Temecula Valley, Murrieta Valley, Great Oak, all 5-3. Vista Murrieta checks in at 4-4. So hard to say at this point who's going to come out of that meat grinder in the Southwestern League, as they all take turns kind of beating up on each other.
I can't wait to see. There's some good talent out there. You did a nice piece on, what was the gentleman?
Which one?
True Sport Kid. We were just talking about him today, darn it.
Colton Gerhardt, Kyle Plantier.
See, you're just naming them off now. I couldn't.
I'm just name dropping.
I couldn't even I could tell you, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think now. Well, we crank out the story so fast. It's almost like a blur at this point.
It is. Let's move on.
All right, so that's how the Southwestern League looks right now. In the Sun Belt League, a guy whose dad always hits me up on Twitter, let me know how he's doing, and he hits me up a lot because he's doing really well. His name is Parker Fokin. He's the ace pitcher for Paloma Valley. He has the Wildcats right now at 7-0, a 2-game lead on Temescal Canyon. Temescal Canyon beating Heritage today 5-3. Parker 6-1, ERA of 1.27. I don't care who you are. High school, Clayton Kershaw, those are good numbers. 6-1, 1.27.
Speaking of which, late to the game, totally off subject but on subject, Clayton Kershaw is going to be pitching out at Rancho, I believe, this week.
Is he
in
really?
a rehab assignment, yeah, for anybody who's interested.
I'll have to check that out. Hey, speaking of guys who are in the pros, and coming back, let's see. Oh, 7-4 Poly, the final score. So Poly beating JW 7-4. So Poly now a 1-game lead on the Huskies in the Inland Valley League for first place. 7-4 your final score. You mentioned Clayton Kershaw.
And now they beat both the 2 teams that are closest to them, correct?
Well,
in consecutive weeks.
Arlington was kind of close. Now they're like at 500 in league, but it looks like it's a 2-team race between JW North and Poly.
Kyle's telling us that Poly was down 4-0. Came back to win 7-4.
Unanswered by the Riverside Poly Bears to win that.
Yeah,
wow.
Bears were down 4-0 in the 5th.
And they came
back to win 7-4. So congratulations to the Bears.
And those Navigado boys. Hey, speaking of, like you mentioned, Clayton Kershaw, the pros, playing locally or whatnot. Toby Gerhardt, now running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be coming close to home because the NFL schedules were released today, and the Jaguars are making a trip to San Diego. So Toby Gerhardt and the Jags coming to Southern California if you're a Norco or IE kind of guy.
And it seems to me that he's going to get some playing time this year, it seems.
Hey, Maurice Jones-Drew, now a Raider, opens the door for Toby to be that premier running back, get all those carries, right?
He's quite a load, man.
He's a big guy. We knew he was good, but when you had a guy like Adrian Peterson in front of you in Minnesota, realistically, how many touches are you going to get?
Unless it's a 2-yard and a cloud of dust.
That's right. But, hey, Toby got a couple touchdowns that way, Let Adrian Peterson do all the work, get down into the goal line.
Well, there were a couple games where Adrian was nicked up, and he was able to get some carries and, be productive. And obviously people saw something in him because he got a contract with the Jaguars, and it wasn't a cheap contract, pretty good money.
Got a nice little payday. So if you want to check out Toby Gerhardt, the Jags playing San Diego, I believe at the end of September for this next upcoming NFL season. His little brother Colton obviously doing a great job playing baseball at Vista Murrieta as well at this point. Over at Tockwitz, the Titans are just running away in this league. 17-1 overall, 8-0 in the Mountain Pass. And I'm kind of bummed out, Zink, because I had some sound bites queued up from Anthony Garcia and Casey Garcia. I just did a story on those guys that I think will run soon. And two brothers who grew up playing baseball together, and now they have a chance to possibly share a CIF championship together if all goes according to plan. 17-1 right now, 8-0.
My only critique of those kids is you couldn't get a single photo of the both of them together, even though they're brothers. You had to send me 2 photos.
It was like
one of each kid because you couldn't find a single photo frame that had the 2 of them in it. I don't know how that works out, Pep, especially since you're a photographer.
You know,
I have no idea. But, you know, crazier things have happened in my life.
It was like, excuse me, it was like oil and water. You know what I mean? I was following them around with the camera. It's like, oh, let's separate. Let's not get too close here. But they did say they're very close, and they go to each other for advice, and, you know, they bounce things off of each other baseball-wise. But I guess you just wouldn't know.
It's the ironic nature of these kids. They're very close, but they never stand near each other.
But you'll like this. They're Angel fans.
Not bad.
I said, what do you guys like to do? He's like, oh, as a family, when the Angels come on, everything stops. We sit down as a family. We turn on the Angels. So, because
that's fantastic.
I asked him, do you talk baseball at home? And he's like, a little bit. But when the Angels come on, everything stops. Everyone sits down. The Angels are on. So, so look for that in the Press Enterprise coming up soon. I got the colored wheel of death over here, so we can't roll that video. But Casey and Anthony Garcia, maybe we'll just play it next week. And,
way to go. We're out of time.
I know we're 51 minutes deep into the show, but one final thing, and I had pictures to go with this, but of course I can't queue up right now. But big shout out to Temescal Canyon freshman golfer Norman Zeong, won the Inland Empire Golf Championship at the Country Club at Saboba Springs on Monday. Only a freshman.
He shot a.
This was a
66.
6 under. Yeah, 6 under 66.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good score at that golf course. So that
Have you played that course before?
Yeah, and that golf course is set up to the Nationwide Tour comes through and has played on that tour, on that golf course. So it's not a slouch of a golf course. You go look at the photo gallery that's on PE.com on the sports site. You can see that you can see the holes, and there's no easy holes around there.
All right, so congratulations to Norman. Worth noting though, KK Limbasu and from Redlands and Aaron Wise from Santiago.
Wise,
yeah, not there. They were elsewhere or scratched. So,
unnamed coach said, "I'm not giving his $50 back."
You got a lot of unnamed coaches.
Can't name them. They're sources.
You got a lot of sources out there.
No, I'm serious. Coach said he's not getting his $50 back. That was for Aaron Wise. Aaron Wise just didn't show, I guess. Aaron Wise, actually, I saw that same day Aaron Wise played in a league match that Santiago did win. So maybe it was a matter of bad scheduling.
Can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, absolutely. And league's kind of important if you're playing for a team.
Yeah, it's been nice to have an IE championship under your belt, but Aaron Wise off to do some big things.
He's got plenty
Oregon,
of championships under his belt.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you to the great Matt Logan. Zink's going to be getting to his seamstress very soon, right? In case people missed it, what's going on? Yeah.
I think he gave me the go-ahead, tentative go-ahead.
I saw the green light.
I mean, if I make him, he's got to wear them, right?
I think he will. At least a scrimmage or something.
He told me he'd wear boxers. He'd wear
boxers.
Shorts, unless they were dry-fit shorts. You heard him. He gave every excuse in the world not to wear them. Well, if the kids are all getting new uniforms, he needs new shorts.
He's got to have a new look. If they're having a new look, he's got to have a new look as
Look at all the takeaways from that. No, seriously, we got new uniforms at Centennial.
Yeah.
Right? We got four kids. Excuse me, 4 kids that are competing for quarterback at Centennial, with very few reps among them.
Yeah. So it's going to be somebody new that's going to come out of the blue.
And then the schedule that they're going to play, and I'm sure Coach has got it under control, but it seems to me there's a lot of question marks there.
You know what? He said they might go through their growing pains. They're young. They're playing a very daunting schedule, so it might happen. Hey, we also talked about Will Sutton. We got the NFL draft coming up, and he saw Will not too long ago and said, look, Will looked great.
Yeah.
So
he looked really good. Well, and the funny thing about that is when he was his seniors last year at Arizona State, remember the big knock on him was he's fat and slow. So obviously he's cleared that up.
Yeah.
Oh, and not to mention the fact that Taylor Martinez basically had a pro day, and in his pro day showed 3 positions in his tryout.
Quarterback,
receiver, running back?
DB.
I don't know.
DB is what he said. So
he's really looking. And I just broke on HS Game Time that he's also got a couple apps in the App Store.
There you go. So thank you to head coach Matt Logan. We always love having him on. And also the Riverside Poly softball team. The Bears are doing some great things with their head coach Robert Sakaguchi. And thanks for the gals for coming on down too. 16-6, 6-0 in the Inland Valley League. And as we mentioned, the head coach here at Adrenaline for softball, Mindy Cowles, was the star pitcher the last time Poly went all the way to the CIF finals and won that championship ring. So kind of nice to maybe bring it full circle. They got to meet Mindy today, so I'm just saying.
Uh-oh. You're a ring maker? Is that what you're telling me?
Hey, if you're making shorts out of a houndstooth, I'll go make a ring, and we'll just be passing out all this stuff to our guests here on the Blitz. And, of course, we got to thank Adrenaline Athletic Training. They're always great. They're always busy. We sneak into our little corner here, and we've got all the action going on around us. It's great. So, for David Zink, I'm Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you again next Wednesday right here on the HS Game Time Live Blitz.